Welcome back to another episode of our You Asked For It, the show where you send us questions and we spend time talking about them.
How can they send us questions?
You can send us questions through email. Email contact@accesschurchonline.org. Send us a Facebook message, Access Church, or the easiest way, just comment on this video with a question for next week. It can be.
Did you hear that?
Anything under the sun. Yeah, he sounded like, I thought it was you over there. This episode is sponsored by Hassle-Free Septic.
Yeah.
Just kidding. It's not sponsored by anybody, but these guys like to match.
It's sponsored by anybody. You didn't send us no check.
These guys like to match, though.
Maybe
But
we
Hassle-Free
could get
Septic.
some.
If you'd like to send us a check, we will accept it.
Yeah.
You're already wearing. We just
Make it out
we
to
just spent.
SHAHEEN.
We just spent a good 30 seconds talking about hassle-free.
Yep.
You're wearing hassle-free hats.
He should send us a check.
Till the check comes, this is how it's going to be.
The check comes. So this is going to be a quick episode. Kevin, sorry you can't talk.
Look at the sadness on his face. Like, even 1% that being true.
Yeah. Just kidding.
I'm going to cry.
You get to talk. You
I
ready?
get to talk.
It's already been 8
Ready?
weeks. It's
So,
been 8 weeks.
A couple weeks or so ago, we had one of our most compelling episodes on this show where we talked about how not to offend people.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if you haven't seen that, you should go back and watch it
I
because
really learned a lot from
it's
listening to you
filled
guys.
with great advice. Anyway, from listening to you guys. Anyway, this episode is going to be kind of the flip side of that. How can we avoid getting offended?
That's easy.
And but not so much that. How can you walk away from a situation? Maybe you were offended, but don't write off the relationship because of it. How can we go inward and avoid being offended and avoid kind of shoving people away?
Not just
they
go
said
on
something we
Facebook
didn't
and
like
say, if you don't like this, then you can unfriend me now.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, what a wonderful way to live.
You have to specify
If you
that
disagree
question.
with me, you can delete me. Oh, okay.
Are you talking about we as general humans, or are you talking about we as Christians? Because I think that's a huge difference.
Let's start. I don't know. Let's start as general humans.
Okay.
And
Then we got 2.5 minutes for general humans and 2.5 minutes for Christians.
all right.
I don't know how to do it as a general human. You go ahead.
Anybody from the Hassle Couch?
The
me.
hassle couch. I don't know what hassle you're talking about.
The hassle-free. Kevin
waiting.
didn't turn his hat
I'm waiting
backwards.
for the check. I would say just from a general human perspective, don't assume that you know everything all the time. You know, like
That's good.
I mean, it seems simple, but I mean,
E-
maybe don't assume that you're the center of the world and you have all the answers and you can never be wrong.
Or even if something was said that did offend you initially, don't assume that that's the direction somebody was coming from.
That too, yeah.
Like, yeah,
Don't-
they meant to dig at me with that one.
Sometimes they might,
Yeah.
and maybe that's where some wisdom comes in to know if this happened repeatedly, then I do know you are against me.
What would you
Look at
do?
him just all quiet.
What would you do in that situation? What if you knew they were taking a dig at you? Do you go? Do you hop on Facebook and?
Facebook, what's that?
That's right. You're not
I don't
on
know
there.
what that is.
Do you hop on Twitter and subtweet them and go? Don't say their name, but say exactly what they said and be like, if you feel this way, go ahead and delete me. Is that the proper way to handle that situation?
No. Honestly, I mean, maybe this is bad, but if I know somebody's like that, I don't get offended anymore because I've written that person off.
Oh my gosh, that's what I'm talking about right now.
I know, but it's not like, I mean, not written off and like I'll never talk to you again.
Yeah.
Or like I'm going to ignore you or I'm going to be a jerk back, but like I just don't put weight in what you say anymore. Because,
Oh, okay.
Like you
Yep.
don't, you know, it's not, you're not trying to help me with what you're saying. Or you're not honestly trying to care about helping me see a bigger perspective.
Yeah.
You just care about tearing me down. And so like, I mean, you can be civil. Don't be a jerk.
Yeah.
But I don't have to put any weight in what you say anymore.
Yeah.
You know? And if what you say, if I'm putting, then what am I going to be offended about?
Yeah,
Something
exactly.
insignificant?
That's where that wisdom comes in. If you're not
Yeah.
like, don't put so much weight into what some people say, because
Yeah.
then you're constantly going to be bitter and you're constantly going to be offended and in a bad mood. So
So I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm a horrible person to ask that question because I don't know if I've ever been offended.
wow.
I just don't. I don't
Well,
take.
I'm glad you're here for this video because it's actually an intervention.
Yeah.
Welcome to the MTV roast of Dave Roberts.
Of Dave. Homeless Dave.
Almost Dave.
Hey, I got to jump on that. I would say this. Define offended, because I'm not sure I know what it means. So like you, I'm not sure I've ever been offended. People say things derogatory about Jesus Christ all the time. Say, I'm a Christian. How should I feel about that? I don't take it personal, or I don't know. I don't know what offended. If you mean ticked off or angry,
Yeah.
I get ticked off and angry sometimes because of, not because of differing opinions, because of people who just really aren't, they're just super ignorant about whatever topic, you know.
I guess.
Watch this. What if somebody said that, you know what? I think you could be a potential slave owner.
Well, giving the right circumstances or situations or right time of, you know, maybe.
Kevin, we have literally gotten a comment like that before.
Oh, yeah.
They took a look at
Oh,
you.
that I am a slave owner?
Yeah, somebody
Said you
watched
might
one of our
peddle in
videos
slaves.
and said,
Oh,
if you were born a long time ago, then you would have definitely been a slave owner.
Well, if that person would have lived in that culture at that time, they probably would have been
But
too.
aren't you offended?
I don't know what that means.
Don't you want to go on there and like rebuttal them back in the comments and have a keyboard war?
No.
Okay, Kevin, I'll put it in a.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I've been called names all the time. Muslim terrorist, and that's just, you know, work days.
Hey, Drew.
I
If
didn't
it
know
looks
those were names.
like it, talk like it.
Yeah, I thought those were just people spitting facts.
Spitting facts. Okay, so
I
really,
do not look like that.
I have never once.
Can we show this video anymore?
Kevin, what about festering anger? How do you make sure somebody says something, you don't go home and you stew all night, all the next day, all maybe not offended, but you're just sitting there and it's like just burning inside of you based off of what they said?
That's never happened to me ever because somebody has said something. That has happened to me before when there has been a confrontation with somebody and they didn't understand.
Yeah.
And I work over it, that self-talk all the time of like, how come they can't see reality or see that? But in my whole life, I just said this the other day, and it's so true. I've really searched everything. There's nobody in this world that I hate. And so I'm kind of with Dave. There's only three people in this world out of everybody I know that I just don't like them a lot. But I don't hate anybody. This movement, Black Lives Matter, I think Black Lives Matter, and I would be on board of anybody getting their fair shake on things. But the movement Black Lives Matter makes me angry because I see people not thinking straight, and I can see you're harming yourself and everybody else, and you can't see it. Makes me frustrated. I don't think I hate them, but I want to switch this to a Christian because we're going to run out of time.
Yep.
As a Christian, it is impossible to offend a Christian because a Christian.
I know a
person-
lot of so-called Christians who would disagree.
Okay, well, Jesus kind of tells us not to be offended. He even his own character and he himself was never offended. And they nailed him to a cross, because a Christian basically is not about me. And so I think this whole idea, the more self-centered we are, the more self-conscious we are, the more easily we can be hurt or angered or offended. But when life's not about me or what I think or my preferences, you cannot offend somebody. Dave, this might be where you're at. It's impossible to offend somebody that's not self-centered. You just can't. Why? Because it's not about me. And I think this, with a Christian perspective, is you can't be mad at somebody. Like I said, I just don't understand this Black Lives Matter thing. But I want to reach them. I do. So I can't be angry at them. Yeah. I am frustrated at the movement, and I see how hurtful it is. But there's nobody that I think that we shouldn't love, that we shouldn't try to reach, because we're called by Jesus Christ himself to reach everybody that we can. And when you're angry at somebody, when you write them off, when you say, I'm not talking to you anymore, we just cut off our ability to reason with them. Now, it doesn't say you don't throw pearls before swine. In other words, if this person's not asking questions, if they're not in a dialogue, well, then don't waste your time. But it doesn't mean you have to be mad at them.
Yeah.
Just don't waste your time with them. And maybe that's where you're at. When you say, I write you off, not as a friend, not as I want to talk to you again, but over this matter, I'm not going to give it any more thought. Or at least with you, I'm not going to give it any more thought.
Perspective.
It's been a while since
That word
word's
that
come
gets
up.
tossed around every once in a while.
I
Different
honestly
perspective.
don't understand people being offended. Like what? So let's say and you know what, you might not. So I got European heritage, and if somebody says something derogatory about Vikings, not the football team, Vikings, I have no idea what that has to do with me, even though I have Viking heritage. I mean, that has nothing to do with me. I don't know where that comes from. How you could be offended about, I'm a Christian. Christians were fed to the lions for entertainment. Doesn't offend me now. It's history. I hope we never do that again, especially if I'm one of them. But I don't understand the concept of being so angry and offended because of something that happened to Christians 2,000 years ago, or something that happened to the Vikings. I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. And I'm not trying to piss anybody off. I just don't get, that has nothing to do with my life.
Yeah.
I mean, that was 6 minutes.
Was it?
I feel like it was 6 minutes.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
In Kevin's standards. That was good.
I kept her down.
You did.
Do we have more time? I'll keep talking.
So what I got out of this episode is that Dave is just the epitome of selflessness.
Yes, must be.
So selfless.
So selfless, he hasn't even combed the beard.
Or eating shellfish. I mean, I'm good.
That's what it is. We just all need to grow long beards, and it just deflects the offensive words.
Yeah.
I'm the closest.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
Someday.
Well, there you go. There's your you asked for it again. Send us a question for next week. There ain't no check.
Still waiting for that check.
We will literally talk about anything. Kevin will talk about anything.
Anything.
Would love the opportunity to talk about anything.
It doesn't even have to be in the form of a question.
No.
You just type a word.
We'll take it from there. We'll take it from there.
Oh, that's all it takes. So there you go.
I'm not going to be here next week.
So send us somebody send a football question or a sports related question,
Yeah,
because
please.
Send a hockey question.
Shaheen is very, very knowledgeable.
Hey, a music question.
A music question.
Be good.
Why did you play that fantastic song, the 28th, that's in church?
Here's a
29th.
good one.
29th.
Someone type in the comments, why is Chris Stapleton so overrated?
Whoa. He's offended. Oh, they're both offended.
That's funny. That's how our last offensive episode ended too.
right,
Well,
good.
there you go. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll be back.
This one stopped.
Oh, unbelievable.
When?
When?
That was fun.
No way.
That was great. That last part got to be in there.
It will be. I was just talking to the wrong camera. I'm gonna go off one of that camera over there decided to stop. I don't know when. Anyway, subscribe to the channel.
It's just Kevin's body.
Like, subscribe to the channel, like the video. We'll be back next week. This was a train wreck. All right, bye-bye.